Welcome everyone to third episode of TED Talks. Today we have Prerit Munjal, CTO at KubeCloud with us, and our host Romesh Khaddar, CTO co-founder DevBytes. Hello everyone.
Hey guys, so I'm first of all welcome. Glad you guys joined. And today we have Prerit with us. Prerit is a person who's popularly known as a guy who, how do we say, thwarted mining attacks by using Terraform. So here, Prerit is actually CTO at KubeCloud and has had a varied and illustrious career till now. So I'd rather let Prerit talk about
Yeah.
where he has come from, what he has been doing.
Great. Hi guys. I hope majority of the people joining are my audience, so they probably know me from my past experience.
Absolutely.
So I'm currently the co-founder and CTO of KubeCloud and Infra One. We develop, how do we say in very naive terms, workflow automation tools. If you have used Excalibur or some any other system design tool, what we do is we you can similarly draw your system design architectures, and in return, we will be giving you any kind of code, any kind of automation code, may it be Terraform, may it be Pulumi, may it be OpenTofu. And recently, I think I haven't shared it on LinkedIn, but recently we got one of our tool got acquired,
Yeah.
and that this is my first exit from a tool, because I'm literally, this is the first time that I have built and sold something. So I never knew that you can sell softwares, and that too in a like six digit thing dollars. So apart from this, I speak at conferences. The upcoming conferences that I'm going to speak at are SRE Days London, KubeCon London, KubeCon EU, and I will be giving two talks there. So if you are in London or anywhere else, looking forward to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, we would be definitely looking forward to these conferences also.
And
Prerit.
congratulations, Prerit,
Congratulations.
on making that first sale. It's we all know it's very difficult when you are developing something and then you are able to eventually make it so much of a value add to someone else that they are ready to pay money for you just in exchange of the software. So that's great. So glad you could join with us today, Prerit, and thanks for coming. So before we kick off our conversation, I'd just like to ask, like, are you a infrastructure as a code person or configuration as a code person?
I think I'm both as a code person, but in terms of like infrastructure, I guess configuration shouldn't have been even part of infrastructure in the first hand. Tools, for example, Docker. Anyway, when we build large scale systems, configuration does matters. For example, we are building a very giant orchestrator or workflow automation tool. Configuration does matters, but I think it's one timer task. And even if we get updates, for example, Kubernetes has two release cycles in a year, so in those cases you just have to update 32 to 33. So yes, I've spent most of the time in infrastructure, maintaining them, building them. Yes.
Great. Okay. So, all right, I'll take it as like you are an infrastructure as a code person primarily. Although I totally agree with you there that you cannot be relying on a single thing. So, so let's like I mean, in a way, it kind of also brings us to this question that one should always be aware about how the DevOps has actually evolved. Like, what has been DevOps 1.0 to 3.0? I'm just bringing it up here so that those who are uninitiated or the new developers who have joined in, it kind of gives them a brief knowledge of history, how things have gone over.
Mhm. So, anyway, DevOps is simply you automate. In simple terms, you automate thing. You are reducing toil. Toil is the work that is mundane task that you can easily automate. So, DevOps is specifically meant to automate software release cycles. I think I'm hearing an echo, so I don't know whose mic.
Just give me a second.
Just a
Yeah.
second.
So anyway, so DevOps entire role was to automate the software release cycles. So DevOps 1.0 was just introducing maybe Docker inside it. DevOps 2.0, I don't know. I think today's era is DevOps 2.0, but primarily it's all about how you can build portable softwares. So may it be portable infrastructure. Terraform is portable infrastructure. Kubernetes is portable infrastructure. Docker is portable application code. So anything that makes your software portable is DevOps. Now when because from the past 2 years we are seeing AI, DeepSeek and other models working so really well in this domain or any other software domain. We can see that in DevOps 3.0, though nobody can predict the future, because ultimately VCs are going to control how we think. The more money they are going to pour in, the more adoption is going to, because the more they are pouring the money, the more marketing is going on, the more marketing is going on, the more adoption will go on.
Exactly.
DevOps 3.0 is all about not actually learning the tools, but implementing them, optimizing them. I think even in future releases or future models, there will be some models who can optimize on daily basis, for example cost optimization, for example some strategies. But as of now, I think it's good to learn how a tool works, what this tool is doing, and actually digging into the code base of that tool. For example, Kubernetes, how can you now in today's era, to get a job, it's not enough to know how Kubernetes work or what Kubernetes is. Nobody's going to ask you what are replica sets, what are deployments, what is an ingress controller. Everybody's going to ask you how you can actually extend Kubernetes to their particular use case. For that, you need to know CRDs. And also, I can see a lot of companies along with us who raised quite some money in automating these DevOps things. Okay, for example, uh, a startup, a good friend of mine has a startup for observability, dedicated to observability. So they have eBBF tools, they have agentless kind of systems, they have all different kind. So initially we can say that we have vertical agents in all the domains. So observability will have one different AI tool. Then we will have for application development like Docker build packs, somebody will club them together and help you. Just you can just push your code and everything will be automated. Though by Git and Argo ecosystem, everything is automated. But again, we are looking for next kind of building autonomous systems. And similarly, we can see a lot of companies building different agents in terms of different verticals. But we can also expect some really big kind of announcements by some really big companies in terms of software shipping or DevOps as a service as a whole bundle. Yes.
When you say some, I mean, what exactly are you thinking about when you are saying like DevOps as a bundle, as a whole? Like, what are the aspects of? Uh, I mean,
Okay, I think
it's a little.
developers would be more focused on building the core logic. Okay, they would
Mhm.
not be anymore required to kind of destroy the old infrastructure that they've built through Terraform apply or Terraform plan. They would be just required to push the code. And DevOps as a bundle would be just like an AI agent actually monitoring your how to actually scale your number of pods, number of nodes, or maybe any kind of infrastructure automated. Because in auto scaling there is some kind of manual work going on, it's not entirely auto scaling.
Right.
So we can expect as a bundle, meaning observability will be managed by that similar agent. It's going to like migrate the metrics or send the metrics to different agents, and then actually work collectively to scale, build that model, market that model as well. Because the lower traffic you get, the higher you want to market. And because sales teams and the engineering teams are not in sync, We see a lot of teams even spending marketing budgets because it takes a lot of time to for the word to travel in cross teams, right? So we can expect these kind of tools.
Okay.
Perfect.
So when we talk about, you also briefly touched about that Kubernetes. I mean, essentially speaking, Kubernetes and things like that will become, uh, you can say, the skeleton for AI, wherein AI is essentially being used to write the necessary glue code in a dynamic setting, right? So it kind of poses that question like, has Kubernetes matured enough, or what is exactly its present and future going to look like?
Okay, so for Kubernetes, it's always been matured. Okay, anybody could just deploy on their own infrastructure, but the point is, it's not for everyone. For though my company's name is KubeCloud, that means Kubernetes in cloud. We specifically don't use Kubernetes. Okay, we used to use Kubernetes because we had three pivots. So in the beginning we were an kind of recruitment agency, then we were focusing entirely on training, and then we built kind of autonomous system. But the point is, Kubernetes is not for everyone, not for startups, at least not for startups, not for big scale companies. For big scale companies, you can either deploy on your own infrastructure to save the cost, but again, it's an over engineering kind of work for most of the organizations. Mid scale companies are good, and the point is, entire CNCF ecosystem is based entirely on like Kubernetes, everything. For example, service mesh, there are three different service meshes, 10 different service mesh. For observability, it's around Grafana, Loki, Prometheus, OpenTelemetry, Datadog. A lot of Splunk, a lot of tools are built around Kubernetes, and I think collectively they value at about $144 billion. And again, investor money, total investor money. I don't think Kubernetes is going anywhere, but we can expect a lot of companies, a lot of companies hiring AI agents to solve the kind of Kubernetes problem, because right now you can find two kinds of people in the industry: one who are the creators and who know how actually Kubernetes works, and one are the total beginners. You won't find people in the middle. So this is a problem that also I'm also building some new products. So we are also solving the similar problem, where we because in the middle there it's totally empty. Either a person is in third year, fourth year, who bought a course from any bhaiya didi and then started deploying the things, and code fat gaya to they switch to VMs, right? and
Right.
on the other end, there are the contributors who actually created Kubernetes and who are actually contributing from 6 7 8 years. So
Right.
yes.
So you are talking about this gap in the knowledge gap in Kubernetes as an ecosystem. Uh, I mean, so if there is knowledge gap, that means not good enough utilization of that service is also happening, because then people are able to achieve the solutions. And like you also said a couple of minutes back, that not every company needs Kubernetes, right? So who exactly, like, what all kinds of problems should you be looking at if you want to learn Kubernetes, and vice versa?
Okay, according to a survey in 2022, I guess there were that was a survey, and it said that 60 to 70% of the Kubernetes resources are either under provisioned or over provisioned. Okay, this is due to the knowledge gap between the people or the new hires. Now the point is, what kind of problem as a developer, as a learner, you should be focusing on is that you should be enough equipped with the knowledge such that you have just pushed your code into a GitHub repo. Your code should automatically get built and it should automatically get deployed on Kubernetes. Now, coming to the Kubernetes ecosystem, you should do a couple of things. First is mutual TLS. Okay, deploy a particular service mesh so that mutual TLS is enabled, because in most of, though MTLS is an overkill for most of the engineering products, but it will be a good exercise for you to implement MTLS. The second point is you should be enough capable of observing at least few metrics and exporting them to a particular dashboard. Have an open telemetry collector, and then you can just integrate any kind of metrics to it, and then just send it to dashboard. And also have some kind of auto provisioning or HPA, horizontal pod autoscaler, or VPA employed in your particular project that you're going to build, just to make sure that you are optimizing the number of resources as per the need. So first is the application automation kind of thing, second is observability, third is security and service mesh, and fourth is, look, first of all, Kubernetes is an open playground. Okay, so you can integrate your flavor as well. For example, you're not happy with any storage solution like Rook, Ceph, anything, so you can build your own. Okay, you just need to write CRDs, and it will be okay for you. So for developers, just build the application that will be scalable, reliable, secure, and automated.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dream of every developer in a certain sense. Something that most of us are always chasing. I guess Kubernetes as a tool does help us a lot in that. Um, so, if we talk about coming back to the main topic of our discussion, like AI and DevOps, with with now Kubernetes also in the mix, how, and like we kind of briefly touched upon it. So, how do you think it will evolve, and what all things do you know that people are already doing? Maybe, I mean, because it's a developer community and things travel slow, like you also mentioned, right? Um, when things are actually in sandbox, people are talking more about it, right? So, what all discussions have you been part of? Can you throw some light around that
For AI ops, right?
for AI ops? AI ops, yeah.
First thing is, I really, when I was even giving you the topic to Ashish about the discussion, I really hate AI ops, DevOps, ML ops, FinOps, and like industry has created a lot of ops, right?
Correct, correct.
And I think the only term that should be there is auto ops, automated operations. That's it, because operations were meant to be automated, right? And I think AI ops is just like DevOps plus AI. Okay. And anywhere you can integrate AI. For example, you want to integrate AI in your observability stack, you can do that. There are a lot more tools. You can build your custom layers. You want to integrate AI into, for example, getting the cost recommendation engine. It's the very common project that I see on resumes, is that people have built AI cost optimizer for cloud builds, right? And
Right.
companies like OpenCost, KubeCost are built on top of that. There is nothing more into there. But I think you just need to add an agent. You just need to run 2 3 scripts, and that agent will be deployed on your current infrastructure. So integrate AI at every step. Again, it leads to either building vertical agents or having an I think Doctor DevOps or DevOps Droid. There is a company backed by YC in I think summer 24 or winter 24, and they are building something like that, where you just need to there will be a particular agent working with your entire DevOps infrastructure, and your even your developers taking feedback. Okay, for example, your developer is not happy with the build time, how to actually reduce that build time. Your developer is not happy with the security backdoors that have been very frequent in the past 3 weeks after releases, so you can do some part on that. The scope that I see, and the companies that I have been consulting, is AI plus security in this entire DevOps ecosystem, because there are a lot of things you can take control of. First is, how is your application or your container secure enough? Does it have any vulnerability? Second is, Is your cloud infrastructure secure enough? Maybe you are running on bare metal or self-hosted. So again, coming to bare metal, it takes another route of physical hardware security. But when you're running on cloud, there are also maybe some ports are open. Maybe you're using public IP. Maybe you have whitelisted some wrong IPs. Then comes the part of actually when your user is interacting with your application, that is runtime security. So have you integrate, are you collecting the right metrics, who has the access to your kernel level things, okay? Because once kernel is gone, everything is gone. So yes, this is kind of evolving. Again, nobody can actually predict the future. It may happen that there are no jobs for DevOps in future. It may happen that there are a lot of jobs for DevOps. Maybe there will be 50% DevOps engineers, 50% DevOps agents. Yeah.
Right. In a way, I mean, I kind of feel that there will be a lot of DevOps agents pretty soon, hopefully, because but no one can actually end up removing human from the equation, because although you can think of okay, I have secured it from this manner or that, uh, there is always that vulnerability that gets overlooked, and thinking that AI will solve it for you is you being a little too lazy.
Uh,
um,
yes, kind of a good perspective, but I have seen people, I've seen companies. So, for example, again, an impromptu question to you. For example, you want to hire a particular agent, which will be taking, for example, 1,000 rupees a month, and there is another option, maybe an employee who will take 12 LPA from you. What would you recommend? AI agent,
exactly.
right?
So ideally speaking, an employee along with that AI agent, so that that employee can bring in other aspects.
10x performance.
That's how I look at it.
But
Essentially, AI
mhm.
agents and everything, effectively, they are more like tools to me. Um, I mean, if I'm developing any kind of DevOps tooling for, say, a new project, I would rather, for lack of a better term, use ChatGPT and create that initial glue code if I am a beginner level developer, and then build on top of it, learn from there. So that way, from a company perspective, I am able to provide a developer the right opportunities to learn,
Y-
and an agent allows that developer to learn faster and better,
I
hack their.
think yes, you are totally correct with the developer point of view, and from DevOps also. The idea is to maybe idea is to give more power to the developer instead of DevOps or having specific engineers just to maintain the infrastructure. Again, the
Right.
idea is not to replace developers. Okay, developers will be there, they are the core reason of the business. The idea is to give more power to them, empower them, give them more tools. Because I have seen like 80% of the openings now require any sort of cloud knowledge, because most of the companies, for example, we had a talk yesterday, how are you going to build, for example, a simple page like we are hiring, and you just want to collect your resumes, right? How are you going to, either you are going to pay for jobs level or workday or maybe some other website, or you are going to implement your own system which is going to be more cost efficient. So you are just going to hire a developer who has some knowledge of AWS S3 API, and you are just going to tell him that okay, integrate this with it, take the help of your AI agent, right?
Correct.
So the idea is again to empower devs instead of hiring specific roles, hiring more generic roles who actually understands how things works in general. So maybe hiring more generalists in the end.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we are becoming full stack for. One interesting question a LinkedIn user asked: what all industries beyond IT and telecom can benefit most from AI ops, and why?
I think when you look at the stack of each and every company, every company is using DevOps under the hood. Every company. So nearly everyone in the landscape, in everyone, for example, you are just using Docker, right? So you will be benefited. Any kind of industry. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Um, ठीक है. So coming back to this thing, what all risk management factors do you think within production of AI? As in, what are the new kind of issues do you think will pop up? Like when DevOps initially started, the whole problem was how do you manage secrets? I mean, that became one of the biggest problems. So, with advent of AI ops, how do you think the landscape is changing?
I think the biggest problem would be data residency problem. Again, having 100% air gapped solutions which are not transmitting your kind of any kind of metadata to maybe some remote servers. So maybe the first problem would be data residency. Second would be, I think AI would take longer time to integrate things, right? For example, I want to use Vault with the HashiCorp Vault with maybe some part of HashiCorp Vault and some part of Google Cloud Key Management System, KMS. So uh, there still a lot of things have to be done as of now. So I think integrating systems and data residency are two biggest problems.
Right. So, uh,
Lot of Romesh. I think a lot of people are saying hi and hello to Prerit.
i
Yeah,
i, I can't
yeah,
see actually.
yeah.
Prerit, you are a
Yeah.
popular
I'll show
person.
you Nitin, Omkar, Lokesh. A lot of fans of Prerit are actually want to interact with.
So please, guys, go ahead, post your questions if you have. Prerit is here to answer them all, I suppose. And meanwhile, I'll keep continuing with the conversation. So, Prerit, basically, now this is, I guess, a very interesting thing for people who have started off, who are, but or who are who have just started off in their career and would love to know that okay, cloud is all the buzz, but what if I want to host it on my own system, or what if I want to host it on a bare metal system? What do you think? Uh, how will how will the AI impact ease of deploying on bare metal servers, etc.?
Mhm. Good question. I guess it totally depends on which kind of scale you are looking for. For example, I also have my home server lab setup. Okay, I also don't completely rely on cloud. Look, there are three kinds of cloud as of now. One is the cheapest, second is the moderate, and the last one is the biggest players. Because so the cheapest are Hetzner Cloud. There is one cool guy who has built Coolify. Then we have even Wursel very cheap rates. On the other hand, we have these massive giants like AWS and GCP who actually create the market trend. They create the market demand and also create the pricing. Like they set the right prices. And for example, if AWS is costing $3 and Google Cloud will follow the AWS pricing, they don't have other things because it's kind of monopoly in the market. And they control the prices. But again, I have seen a lot of organizations moving back to on premises. The reason is simple. I think you should every user should give it a read of Basecamp. Okay, Basecamp is a company run by DHH. He's the founder of Rails, and he shifted back to on premise a year back. And they have speculated that they will be saving about $3 million in the next 3 years or 5 years. So I have seen a lot of companies are going to move back to bare metal. A lot of good companies, because when you run on cloud, you have to follow their terms and conditions. You can't do crypto mining, you can't do a lot more stuff. For example, you're building a company like OnlyFans, so you can't actually build that, right? Because you have to follow some compliances, you have to follow terms and conditions, you have to follow a lot of things. And also, even if you are using any Oracle kind of servers or MySQL server, you have to pay 2x or 3x the amount of licensing fee on cloud, on Google Cloud. For in terms of developers, I think you should be sticking to cloud because it gives you very fast access. You just need to click create instance, and it will be creating an instance for you. But in terms of practicality and enterprise things, I think bare metal makes more sense, because it's just, you just have to buy Intel. You have to just order Intel, and they ship. As of now, they ship in around 4 months. They will ship you entire server racks, including everything, maxed out servers. Okay, so right now enterprises are moving back to bare metal. But again, when you see the marketing gimmick by cloud platforms, like, because they have a lot of money on marketing, so they will launch programs like community builder, they will launch a lot of programs, and they will create some kind of hierarchy, a tier level, just to attract more clients, maybe sending goodies, maybe creating free kind of platform, maybe because Google Cloud gives you $300 for 3 months, and it creates your initial interest in logging into the platform and creating the instance. And yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Prerit, there's a guy, Vijay. He wanted you to answer as a basic question. Romesh, if you can read.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, it's he's asking like if he's a beginner and not have an IT background, where to start?
Okay, in cloud, right? So you can go to my ID, and I have already pinned a particular roadmap. So anyway, you can start with the Linux. Linux is of utmost priority, should be your utmost priority when it comes to cloud, DevOps, SRE, platform engineering, security, any kind of thing. Everything is built on Linux. There is no denial in that. Then you should be focusing on networking, maybe cloud networks a little bit, how to build cider ranges, how to build secure networks, how to avoid wastage of IPs, how, because these things may sound very small, but in longer run they are going to save you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the next thing that you need to be good at is a little bit of how actually web works, maybe how server side rendering works, how client side works, how client server actually interacts, and then maybe a little bit on OSI model and other things. And then you need to pick a cloud, maybe AWS, Azure, or GCP. Again, which cloud you should be picking is totally based on where you want to get employed. For example, you have 10 companies in your mind, go to their job description, read their JDs, and make a mind that, okay, this company is using this, pick the majority and learn that cloud. Or there is some other alternative, you can just pick what you want and then actually apply after learning that. Once you are into a cloud, make sure that you just have one or two certifications. Those certifications have lost their value, entire value, but still I feel that some people, some company, maybe one 5 by 100 companies still prefer certifications. So in order to be on a safer side, invest 10,000 or 15,000 rupees into certification, gain that certification, and then start learning Docker, Kubernetes. I'm talking about if you really want to get into cloud DevOps, not actually pursuing cloud DevOps as a side hustle. I'm just suggesting it if it is going to be a primary bread and butter source. So then you need to learn Docker, Kubernetes. In Docker, learn how to optimize your images, learn how you can actually disable root file system access in the very first stage itself. Then go to Kubernetes, how you can actually deploy Kubernetes, how you can actually optimize your performance, maybe rollouts and other stuff. Add Argo ecosystem to it. Learn some observability tools, for example, OpenTelemetry, Prometheus, Grafana, and Loki. Four of the tools are enough. And then you can just keep on applying. Okay, because some companies don't even require Kubernetes and cloud. They will just hire you for Linux skills or your networking skills. So the entire landscape is broken as of now. You can a company can ask you for just Linux. On the other hand, different company can ask you for everything, starting from Linux to observability. So this is a simple roadmap. Simple roadmap.
Simple being the operative word here.
Simple
I
word
think
in simple
fine. I mean,
language.
I'd just like to add 2 cents on top of this. For Vijay, basically, see, you got to start somewhere, and there is a lot of material online to start off. All you have to do is pick up your initial points. I mean, most of the time when I get this question, I see that people want to do this. There is a lot of intent going about it, but then the moment they see the vastness of this, they kind of feel uh, overwhelmed. So the whole idea is take baby steps, like Prerit told. Just keep taking one step at a time. Don't lose your confidence. You will get through out of this. Next, I
Okay,
guess, yeah, Suraj
Suraj.
has asked another question, like what what is what about the security point of view when security is often ignored? So what is your input around it?
I think you should actually be very good at Linux. You should be very good at which kind of packages are being used behind the hood, and then without knowing Linux, you can't actually shift to the actual security side, because even if you are building Docker, it is going to use Linux some way or the other, because Scratch is built on Linux. In my point of view, security is a very big aspect, and generally people need experienced professionals to work on security side, because look, you can't learn Linux in one night, you can't learn Linux in 1 year. It takes a lot of time to actually understand this complex thing. And but you can start from application as well. Instead of focusing on Linux, you can start from application side. You can start with how to secure your Docker images, how to dive into each layer of your Docker image, because different layers can have different kinds of vulnerabilities. You can actually work with so these days S bombs are very common, so you can dig a little bit deep onto what are S bombs, software materials. Then you can actually secure your CI/CD pipelines. You can secure even your ELT, ETL pipelines. You can secure your logs, because logs. A lot of people don't even focus on securing your logs, but those are very very crucial. Even some people, because a crypto mining attack happened on us in quite some time, and a lot of people know about it.
Right.
So logs are very crucial, and if the user had access to logs and they could have deleted it, we were into zero, like zero visibility.
Right.
So yes, you can focus on application side, you can focus, but be sure that security, nobody is going to hire you for just for application side. Security engineer is a very big domain.
Right. So next question I have is from Rakesh. So that since you mentioned about AI agents, what would you suggest to stay relevant in the market? Like
Correct.
getting into building AI agents or getting better at using them?
I think you should be very much involved in the, first of all, I don't know why Indian people don't get involved in funding talks. Okay, so be very very active in which company is raising which kind of money, how much money, and what is their vision. And this is the only way to get involved in the AI race, because entire thing is money dependent, capital dependent, entire thing. Okay, so be very involved in which company actually is building agents, and the only way to actually be good at AI agents is to use them, not build them, because anyway, every agent is going to be having same layer, and on top of that they're adding their own flavors. I have seen a lot of companies who are at 10 million ARR or MRR, even 1 million MRR, and they are building just adding a flavor on top of it. So I think again, I don't think I it's also the good answer to suggest people in using the agents, because anyway, what are you going to type English words? so so I think prompt engineering is also one thing, but again, these days not a lot of tools even need prompt engineering. They are capable enough of uh,
Right. So
things.
so my personal take on this is usually that be better at your SME, like become an SME, your subject matter expert. As long as you are becoming a subject matter expert, then both the doors are open to you, and you will be able to capitalize when the right opportunity knocks on your door. As in, if you, for example, if you are deep into Linux kernel and somebody comes along building an agent around deploying or manipulating security around Linux kernels, what all things to observe, which logs to go for, how to really approach the problem is what an SME would be able to dictate. And then one will be building an agent around it. So, but if you are only about consuming agents, you would probably remain at an application layer. But if you have deeper understanding, you would really be able to build better software.
I second this, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
uh,
lot of questions are coming for Prerit. I think
right.
everybody is interested to like get into DevOps and build their career into tech, right?
I mean, that's where the tech is becoming, right?
Yeah, this
Um,
is a good question. How can we simplify setting?
sure, sure, please. Yeah. So, how Ishwar over here asked that how can we simplify setting up bare metal K8 platform for data ops or ML ops or simplified cloud providers so that simplified cloud providers can convince
Okay,
customers.
so in terms of convincing customers, nobody is going to buy that you're like nobody is going to buy this that KTS is simplified on bare metal. It is not. The only thing is to build good abstractions, and Google is very very good at building abstractions. So even if you see Kubernetes, what is Kubernetes? Cluster. In that cluster we have nodes. In nodes we have namespaces. In namespaces we have deployments. In deployment and also services, ingress, API gateway, pods, containers, crun. A lot of abstractions are there, right? So as long as you're building good abstractions, I've seen companies, for example, Fluid Stack. Okay, Fluid Stack is building like on-demand GPU clusters using Kubernetes and Slurm. Okay, so the only thing is to build good abstractions as seamless as possible. So yeah.
Right. Uh,
Uh, okay, in the AI
so
race.
there's Nikhil who is bringing geopolitics within this.
No,
Like in
it's
this,
a good question, I guess.
yeah,
Look,
yeah, I totally agree
yeah.
with it. The
So look,
AI dominance
Nikhil.
is buzzword buzz news these days.
The first thing that you have to admit is uh, we Indians are very good at cost cutting, not creating. This is the fact that you have to understand, because even when Kubernetes was created, though it is an open source thing right now, but when it was created by some American. Planes were created by the Wright brothers. Any tool, any good tool, they are built by Americans, Europeans, and we are very good at cutting the cost. That's the reason, as of now, though we have a lot of billionaires, Nikhil Kamath and other people, Tata Trust, we have a lot of Ambanis, we have, but we haven't had a single good model as of now. I was trying Krutrim Cloud, and it really sucks. And though they invested 2,000 crores in that, right? And the only thing we are good at is cost cutting. That's why we have billions and billions of dollars coming to TCS, Wipro, Capgemini. A company like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple has not even invent, like they don't invent in India. They invent in California Cupertino Park. It's not that we can't. Okay, the thing is, due to our economy, we can't, because of the p- purchasing power difference between the PPP. We can't, because ultimately dollar is the king. Dollar is backed by gold. Again, they got it by their the military power. So yes,
So, I mean, a lot of things come into play. I kind of agree there, but not fully. So, see, while India has not been the biggest creator of things, uh, it has been the disruptor in many ways, or Indians have been the disruptor in many ways. I would
Correct.
rather put it like that.
Absolutely.
Um, uh, See, at the end of the day, figuring out one can always say that this is where I differ. Basically, one can always say that there is a difference of PPP, right? Dollar is better, things like that. I kind of have that opinion that despite all of that, if you put your mind to it, you will be able to create something better. Uh, I know for a fact that certain companies in India have tried to create better clouds, but of course, it takes a lot of money, and it takes, essentially speaking, it takes a mindset shift. Uh, a lot of investment in India is given on copying models, and if the money is not flowing in the right way or right manner, which is what we are like, I as a personally expect the new generation of entrepreneurs is going to bring in, wherein that pure dhando, the business mindset in funding startups in India would be challenged and changed. And it is happening slowly in a certain sense. I mean, a lot of people are trying to build EV or hardware startups. Although there is that other conversation, is Make in India really working in India or not? While those things are there, I believe it's more like a process. It takes its own time, and rather than thinking about that it will come, it will, oh, it won't come. Like, let the history not be the judge of our future in a certain sense. Otherwise, we will stay stuck where we are. So, yeah, in a way, figuring out and upskilling ourselves is the way we should be taking at. But again,
Yeah, things are evolving, right? Things are evolving in India. A
the
lot of
point, yeah, though they are evolving, but I think Indians are lazy. As I've seen a lot of people, I've seen Americans, Europeans, Singaporeans. Indians are lazy. They don't want to work, to be honest, because even when I saw
relatable.
Infosys founder, like, he said that everybody should be working 70 hours a week
yes,
for
yeah,
themselves, not for company, right? And you saw a lot of backslash over that. I have seen people are lazy. People don't want to actually work.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we got a comment from Rakesh also, like,
it is the risk capital in US that makes it better at creation.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a certain sense, that's what I would also second from Rakesh. That, yeah, you gotta, as and when the capital will start taking that risk, it will start working out for people, and in a way, then it becomes a race. It becomes an inspiration that, okay, that person took a risk, worked for so and so much hours, so much effort, and all that. That kind of inspires people, in my opinion. It takes time, I guess. You have to build it over a. I mean, yeah, that's how I take a look at it. Okay, quick question. What are the current lot of technologies we need to go through if we want to move into AI ops?
particularly they asking for like DevOps moving into AI plus DevOps, right?
Yeah, I guess. Prerit, would you
So
like?
the kind of technology that you want to learn is, so I think most of the Indian developers don't even have the access to ChatGPT's API. So first, get that access to the API, and then start integrating things. Start playing around with things. There is no hard and fast rule. Such that you need to know Kubernetes, then ChatGPT, then integrate. Now you just need to actually understand how, first of all, LLMs works, how custom flavored LLMs work, how to build them, then only you can integrate them.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather put an answer to this question as like choose your problem first.
Yeah,
Choose your problem first, then learn whatever the heck you need to get that done.
correct.
You need not think about a problem as okay, it's I'm gonna sell it. Just do it for fun. That's how I got into everything practically. So just doing things for fun would actually help you do something with your time, and in the process you learn, acquire skills, acquire knowledge of some technologies, and when your problems become bigger, better, or you start putting in more time on a given problem, you would come to a lot more depth in it. So probably put it like that. So basically, Aditya over here with 2 years of experience asking like how to upscale my career as DevOps engineer.
So for upscaling, I think you need to switch. Because I think most of after you spend 1 year in an organization, things if you're not working on any new product and you're just focusing on that same product, your life is monotonous. Okay, there is no point in sticking to that. Take new challenges, maybe less pay, maybe more pay. Take new challenges because DevOps by its definition is automating the workflow, and once you automate enough, there is no room, though I don't admit that there is no room for automation, but after some time, after your product is mature enough, there is no room for automation because you can't automate anything and everything. You should be only automating things that really makes sense, and the things that are really reducing the toil. So I think you should make a switch. You should take more challenging things into your hand, and maybe start something on your own. Maybe you build the next good company from India. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rooting for that day.
Same,
That's the
same.
next big software company from India. So yeah, I mean, one
Yeah,
of
from
the
yeah,
examples I kind of also think around the same thing is Zoho, I'd say.
Zoho,
most of
right?
the questions are answered, I think, Ramesh, right?
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's also close to
Fine.
5:30 now.
Correct. We have extended the session and like, everyone wants to interact with Prerit anyhow.
Right. So great. So I guess we'll have to start towards closing this. So Prerit, would you like to leave a message to all the budding developers for
The Okay, the only thing that I want to say is, instead of buying courses, you should be focusing on building things. Because I've seen a lot of Indian ecosystem people in Indian ecosystem. They want self, like, well plated things, right? They want dummy project as well. They don't want to actually work on maybe understanding something. So I think just for not even for AI ops, ML ops, DevOps, you should be focusing on actually learning things from documentation, learning things from white papers, research papers, and actually be ahead of the race, because everyone is going to buy those same courses. They all will have the same projects in their resume, and ultimately your goal is to get a good job and then maybe figure out something on your own, just like everyone did. I did, he did, everyone else did, right? So the only point is, even if you don't have good experience, no VC is going to back you, no fund house is going to back you, nobody is going to do anything with you. So, and with courses, with people having the same knowledge, you are not going to get ahead of the race. The only message is, read research papers, read white papers, read Google engineering blogs. So engineering blogs at Google are like every good person reads those. How
Right.
how they have actually built a lot of open source things, right? And also read documentation. Even I have a course on YouTube about the Kubernetes. I recommend people to watch it, but read documentation first and then go to visual content, because there is a 10% law. I can only transfer 10% of my knowledge to you, and you can only transfer 10% knowledge to the other person next in the line. So yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I mean, so that's Prerit for you guys. Thank you, Prerit, again for joining us today
Yeah.
and imparting knowledge and your experience to all our viewers.
Thank you
Uh,
so much. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been pleasure listening to you, Prerit. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank
from
you.
our audience side and thank you from the team of DevBytes to coming and giving your valuable time to us. Thank you so much. Thank you so
thank
Thank
much,
you.
you. It
Romesh.
was great chatting. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.